Hey guys, it's Alan at Revival, and I guess you know that because you're watching this show, but I haven't done a daily in maybe a year, and it's been a year. We've been really, really busy. I think it's overdue. We've had a lot of people asking for daily videos, and there's a lot going on here. The reason I'm standing here and it looks like I'm not at Revival because there's only cars around is that we have started to branch out into doing more automotive work. And what better way to kick that off and talk about it than to work on a really cool red Fiero. And if you think that's a Fiero, you might be watching the wrong show. Anyway, so I'm gonna show you what's going on in the workshop. Let's go talk to Chris Davis, because conveniently he's got a mic on and he's working on motorcycles. So,
what's
hi,
up,
Mr.
guys?
Davis.
How's it going?
Good. You working on 3 motorcycles at once? Is that, or is it 4?
I'm multitasking.
Multitasking, as per usual.
Yeah. Couple new bikes and an old bike. Just make sure I'm on my toes.
So tell me, what is this sweet machine and what are we doing to it today?
So, this is a 2015 BMW R9T. Customers put a lot of really high-end parts on it. Carbon fiber wheels and titanium exhaust, carbon fiber bodywork.
Tons of bolt-ons.
Tons of bolt-ons.
Airbox. I see lots of butt connectors.
Quick shifters. Yeah,
Quick shifter. I didn't even notice the quick shifter. Mm-hmm. What is this?
It's a turn signal flashing relay.
Oh, for the bar ends he put on it.
For bar end turn signals and then rear LED indicator slash.
It's like your resistor, and it's your.
It's like a small segment of the M unit to control flashing. So this bike is 2015, so it's got CAN bus.
Oh yeah. Right.
CAN bus for the body control module. So customer went to install momentary push button switches, and then figured out there's a couple things, the headlight and start kill switch don't work. So brought it to us to figure it out.
This is something he installed too? The M-lock?
Yeah, the M-lock.
Okay.
Tons of bolt-on stuff.
I see you're using Revival switches.
Mm-hmm. So what we're doing is installing 3 sets of Revival switches, and we're going to replace one of the momentary buttons with latching buttons. So the headlight will come on and stay on, and the kill switch will come on and stay on.
So this is a challenge. Like this was kicked up. I know that it's been a real problem, and you were waiting on parts for it for months that you couldn't get. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. The original plan was to install a set of aftermarket buttons that had latching buttons. Yeah. We've gone through 2 different vendors that have just disappeared. Okay. Taken our money and disappeared.
Even better. Yep. All right. So now we're going to do it our way.
So now we're going to use our own products and come up with another solution to solve the problem.
All right. So tell me about the Royal Enfield. I know the project, but tell the people, because no one's actually seen this bike on our dailies or anything.
Yeah, I think we just released an album on the website last week with some project photos. 2020 Royal Enfield Interceptor GT650. Yep. It came in
brand new.
Yeah, brand new bike came in. Yeah. And so we've done some custom modifications, a whole new custom rear hoop with LED integrated tail light, turn signals.
M unit.
Yeah, and then right now working on building a custom wiring harness, installing an M unit blue and.
So it's going more cafe, I remember. So we're using the factory tank, but a different tail section we adapted to it. He's already upgraded the rear shocks. We've got Tomaselli adjustable clip-ons. You can see we're using an aftermarket custom tech set of front brake and clutch lever for the brake cable. Revival switches. Moto Gadget, tiny gauge that's nicely nestled. Did you guys make the custom bracket? Yeah.
Yeah, modified the stock trip clamp and then made a bracket for it.
Are we putting the secret LED in here?
It is, yeah.
Our Revival secret LED pops into this nice shallow pancake style headlight bracket that will be painted. Aluminum front fender with new front bracket.
And then we've got a set of aluminum deep dish rims for the bike too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Some aftermarket fork cartridges from Adriani, I think.
And
And
then,
it's also getting an 850 big bore kit.
oh, is it? I didn't know that part. You're gonna tune it like you did the last one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one was so awesome.
And then chain guard that our new fabricator made, that I'm gonna wait to say his name, but new chain guard with an integrated license plate bracket and an integrated license plate light right there. This bike's gonna look cool. I'm excited about it now. At first, it was just seemed like a factory bike, but now the scope of it's changed. Looks easy though. I mean, you're almost done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fuel-injected motorcycle, so it's really simple and straightforward.
Can I have this leftover wire when you're done? Can I have this?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
You can braid it and make a hair extension or something.
And then, what I'm so excited about, I mean, I'll let you talk about it, but the truth is, this is a friend of ours who was like one of our, before there was Revival, before there was Chris in Revival, before there was Alan in Revival, there was this Le Mans that a friend of ours bought. We used to all go ride together, and he had this really cool, is it Le Mans 2 or 3?
It's a Le Mans 1.
Is it Le Mans 1, really? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think it was either.
But it was custom when he got it, so it was hard to tell what it was. It had like fade paint on it, but all kinds of cool aftermarket stuff. And he rode it for tens of thousands of miles on lots of rides and brought it in here just to do, I think, motor work.
He blew the motor up on it 5 years ago.
Yeah, God, it's been that long ago?
It's been that long.
Yeah.
And he tried to do it himself. It turned into a bigger project, so he brought us the motor. And then the motor turned out so nice, he brought us the rest of the bike.
And restored it.
And restored the whole thing.
And restored it. And in typical fashion, the scope of the entire project and the budget changed because he got more excited as he saw the work Chris was doing. And the part that I think is the coolest is, he come around on this side, is that, if you're not familiar with switchgear on these early Guzzis, this stuff never works. I've never been on one. They're always kind of sticky, and you have to find the sweet spot. And Chris went through the process of rebuilding all of these switches and the detents and the contacts to make them work like they did probably for the first 5 years of their life. I never knew, I'm guessing. And that's really cool. You can't just go buy those. And then he sort of redid these gauges, and I just got them.
You just ruined them.
Just got them dirty with my dirty hands. Oh, I see. You've got WD-40 on it. I don't know what that is, but anyway. And took these gauges apart and made them look brand new. Reset the odometer back, which is highly illegal, so we're super stoked about that. And and put LEDs inside the entire array. And this thing at night looks, well, even during the day, trust me, it looks so cool. Here you go, boom. Look, how cool is that? Anyway, so modernizing a vintage Guzzi, performance engine. I think you put
Yeah, bigger
gears.
cam, gear-driven cam.
No more timing chain. It's an 850? Yeah.
850.
Yeah, it's an 850. Le Mans was all 850.
I was trying to think if we did a big bore kit while we were in there, but I think it kept it at 850.
Yeah, and new wiring harness, but factory stuff, because this is a factory original style. All the gray stuff's powder coated. It looks really pretty, but
Yeah, and as Alan mentioned, the bike was customized, so it had gold bits all over it, had red and white faded paint. So we took it back to the way Guzzi would have done it. So silver painted engine and transmission, final drive, silver wheels, black frame. Got rid of all the gold.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna go red again, right?
No,
blue.
white and black.
Oh, it's gonna be the white one.
Yeah.
They didn't make a white Le Mans one. That's gonna be cool. It's gonna look like a Star Wars Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So these bikes came in red mostly, and some of them were blue, but making it white. All right, so it will be custom.
Yeah, and this bike is totally done minus the body work, and then after Damon saw the bike, he's like, we're gonna redo all the paint work because it's not good enough. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be here for a couple months.
Chris has been riding on the dyno. It works great. He hadn't ridden it on the street yet, but soon. Okay, well, hey, get these done today if you don't mind.
Yeah, no sweat.
Thanks. Let's do a daily tomorrow. I want to
Yeah,
see what you accomplished.
I'm gonna ride them all home today.
All right, let's go talk to. Come on. Revival has a new fabricator. Actually, it has two new fabricators if you look in this room, because one guy, Jason Krant, who's been here for a long time, is obviously fabricating, and Colt Wrangler. He's a famous rodeo cowboy /
World famous.
dog owner / fabricator at Revival. now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen his stuff, look at it. He's on the hand-built show. He's had a couple bikes in the show. And I'd say this is probably the first Colt Wrangler bike.
Yeah, I guess
Revival,
so.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So talk to us. Tell us what it is. Tell everybody what it is.
This is, I think it's a 74.
Unit Triumph.
Yeah.
Bonneville motor.
Customer brought it in and wanted a hardtail with big wheels, but the frame was kind of messed up. So we started with a new frame from old school choppers.
Something we've never done. We bought a frame built by someone else because we knew we weren't going to be able to do it better or cheaper.
Yeah.
And it looks really nice.
It looks really nice, and yeah, we found this banana tank and kind of chopped it up and modified it. And
De-seam, or you're not yet?
Do what?
Are you going to de-seam it?
I already have some.
Okay, I can see on the front.
Yeah, the front, and then
Maybe on the lower, but
yeah.
okay.
And then yeah, he wanted a hardtail with a seat that had some movement in it, whether that be an airbag or a spring or something. And so I was just thinking, I wanted a tail section like this. And so I was thinking, all right, we'll spring the tail section. And then I talked to Alan about it, and he came in and he said, how about we not do that, make it fit the frame because that looks nicer, and then build the seat to spring separately.
Yeah.
Which was a really good idea. It's a lot more work, but it's really cool. So we made this cantilever set up here, and we're gonna build a seat pan that goes inside this tail section. And it's so you're gonna have some movement. Yeah. So you won't break your back.
It'll look like it's a total hardtail, but
No.
get a little butt suspension, which is good.
Yep, little booty bounce.
And then we upgraded to a different triple clamps. Who makes these? I can't remember.
Ooh, it's what is it? Cafe Racer suspension?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're CNC cut aluminum. They're really nice, super clean compared to what was up there. And then of course upgraded to the CR front forks. So standard forks, but fully adjustable. CNC, like really great. Made to look like the original Ceriani's that were made back in the day. So, you know, kind of a mashup. We've got Ceriani Italian forks. We've got the Triumph Bonneville motor. We've got a, I don't know, American style tank.
Yeah, this is actually, they kind of made it to fit both the British style and American. So I actually cut off they had a petcock for a Harley position, as well as, so it had 3 petcock holes in it. So anyway, we got rid of that. But yeah, the frame too, because it's the chopper frame, they built everything to be standard. And for Harley front end. So this is actually, these cups here are actually for a Harley front end for a 1 inch.
I didn't even know that.
And they have the steering stops built in, which is cool.
Right.
So you won't have anything on the outside for the steering
Clean.
stops.
Super clean. Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's a big mashup, but it's pretty
It's starting to look good. This looks really nice. Colt made this out of custom aluminum, shaped this.
Yeah, so I got an
clean.
inner fender to build. That's so it'll have a whole piece welded in here, and then it's going to extend down.
Yep.
And then also I got an oil tank to build.
Yeah, which will help hide the rest of this, right, for the side. Yeah, it's exciting.
It is.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do a custom exhaust. That's my favorite part. So that'll be cool once this is all built to do something really cool.
And I noticed this frame's shorter than the last one. It looks a little more proportioned.
It is, yeah. But I believe it's still a 4-inch stretch. It's a 4-inch stretch and a 2-inch drop. I believe the last one was like a 6-inch stretch.
Yeah.
But with this big 21-inch rear wheel,
fills it up.
It fills it up.
Yeah.
Real fast. So.
All right, well, we'll get out of your way. I didn't want to stop you, but I do want to transfer directly over to Krant. So Krant, Jason Krant, for those who don't know, is, he's been here, what, 2 years?
It'll be 3 years
Maybe
on
3?
December 16th, so somewhere around
Friday.
Friday.
So 3 years with us. Was started as a tech and a mechanic, and started getting into fabrication and teaching himself how to weld. And I saw yesterday on Instagram, because I wasn't paying attention, in person, that you were making a sissy bar fender stay something or other. What the heck was it? But you made something. You're fabricating.
Fabricating.
You can see the practice.
Yeah, I've got
stainless bar.
Takes a little bit of a learning curve, but we're doing a custom sissy bar rear fender mount strut.
Started here with some welding wire.
Started with a wireframe, transferred to some stainless steel round stock, and using oxyacetylene torch on a jig that I made on our welding table.
I'm jealous. You were making shit yesterday.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Did a bunch of measuring, just getting the dimensions right. And now I'm trying to mock this up so I can get my exact dimensions on this, get it centered.
Did you machine these?
Those we just buy from a third-party company.
Okay.
They're easy bungs. It's easier just to buy them than make them quicker that way.
I'm just curious. I'm just asking.
So yeah, we'll just get this
Any excuse to use the lathe.
kind of finalized and figure out where it's going to sit on here. And then eventually it'll have this cool little integrated tail light that's going to live inside of the, and we're going to weld this directly to the sissy bar
Because it's stainless.
and it'll have a kind of a good look.
So what's cool about this is it's another Triumph, which makes it look like we're now like custom building chopper style hardtail Triumphs, but it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
In fact, we've never built a hardtail Triumph before. It just happens to be there's two here.
Right,
We've done plenty of Triumph and Norton and BSA work, but
This one's a 64 TR6.
64. So again, unit Triumph. This one's got a magneto on it and was already built into a custom bike, but he brought it back to us because he hadn't really finished the paint work and then decided to do some finishing details. Is that the story?
Yeah, he just wanted it, it was kind of rough finished. A lot of the parts that are now powder coated were kind of just getting aged. And
You powder coated the frame?
We didn't do the frame. We did the front fork springs and the forks. We rebuilt those pretty entirely, and we're gonna do a covered seat. Got a new tank on there. The headlight, we're gonna do some paint work on this. That's supposed to leave today for paint, so that's why I'm going.
So
on this,
then we're slowing you down.
But, no big deal. But yeah, it's just a project in motion, and yeah, pretty cool bike.
Well, dude, I'm excited that I heard you in there with a torch yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're fabricating, doing stuff.
Yeah, little by little, you know. It's a learning process, but glad to be a part of it.
We're gonna come back. Don't let me forget to do another one of this when it comes back from painting. You're doing.
Yeah, we'll do a little
assembly.
before and after. Cool.
Okay. All right, awesome.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. All right, so what is that? I mean, that's an update for now. Another normal day in Revival where we're doing lots of things at once. I'll try to just start doing this once a week, at least. Maybe twice a week. But thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And seriously, subscribe. Turn your notifications on. And if you do that, I'll start doing more videos again because there's a lot of cool stuff happening. That Ferrari F40 is about to be dug into. There's a lot of cool stuff. So thanks for watching. Now's the time of video where most people ask for money or donations or whatever. I'm not gonna ask you for that. What I'm gonna say to you is, if you wanna see more videos and you wanna learn more of what we've learned, and you wanna see a deep dive into a lot of these topics, go to our website and buy something. We sell everything from motorcycle gear, helmets, motorcycle parts, specialized tools. We sell lots of things, and they've all taken us years to figure out what the best stuff is, and we figured it out. So go to revivalcycles.com. There's some really good stuff there. Everything from like kick-ass hand grips from Posh to Radiance LED lighting and everything in between. We want to teach you what we know, but this stuff takes time and it takes real effort to make these videos and make them good for you guys. So go support us by helping yourself to the cool stuff you already need. And it helps us because we make a little bit of profit and then we can justify doing more videos. Thanks for your support.